Today we're going to talk about natural selection. But what is natural selection? Natural selection is the process in which the individuals that are best suited for an environment have a better chance of survival, produce more babies, and pass on their well-suited traits. This is also known as adaptive evolution, and it can cause noticeable differences in the appearance of a species. 4 postulates were described by Darwin that are necessary for natural selection to occur. Let's look at the peppered moth as an example. The peppered moth is found in England. The appearance of the peppered moth used to be light-coloured, but during the Industrial Revolution in the 1800s, they became dark-coloured. But how did this happen? We will now zoom in a bit closer at the process of how natural selection caused this change by using Darwin's 4 postulates. The first postulate is that individuals vary within a population. For the peppered moth, there are 2 variations of colour, white-coloured moths and dark-coloured moths. The white-coloured moths used to be much more common, as you can see in this population here. The varying colours are a direct result of genetic variation, controlled by alleles, and the phenotype is an observable expression of these different alleles, such as the colour of these moths. The second postulate is that this variation is passed on from parents to offspring. When an organism reproduces, they pass on their genetic code to their offspring. This means that their offspring also inherit the same observable traits. So for an example, if 2 dark-coloured moths have babies, these babies will be dark too, due to inheriting their parents' alleles. The third postulate is that some individuals are more successful at surviving and reproducing than others. The moths used to live in a habitat full of light-coloured trees, in which the light-coloured moths blended in really well, as you can see here. This gave the light-coloured moths an advantage, as they were better at hiding from predators like birds, so the light-coloured moths had a better chance of survival. The dark-coloured moths, however, were more easily spotted and eaten by birds, reducing their chance of survival. Because light-coloured moths had a better chance of survival, they were more common in the population. However, during the Industrial Revolution, many factories were being built that ran by burning coal. This resulted in a lot of smoke in the air, colouring the trees dark. Light-coloured moths no longer had the advantage. Instead, dark-coloured moths were much better at hiding from predators. So now the dark-coloured moths were more likely to survive and reproduce, producing more dark-coloured moths. Over generations, dark-coloured moths became much more common than light-coloured ones. The fourth postulate is that the successful individuals are not merely lucky. Instead, they succeed because of the variant traits they have inherited and will pass on to their offspring. So in short, this means that natural selection is not just a random process. The dark-coloured moths had a better chance to survive because they could escape predators better, and therefore have more babies that have also inherited that same advantageous trait. Interestingly, after the Industrial Revolution, when the air became less polluted, trees coloured light again. And guess what? The moth population became light again. So as you can see, animals that are best suited for the environment have a better chance of survival and can pass on their good traits to their offspring across generations.